Welcome to this week's Workshop Wednesday, where we're going to talk about what's new for June 2023. My name is Julie Brody, the Director of Measurement for MeasurementMarketing.io. You've seen me here before, building dashboards since 2007, been a measurement marketer since 2015, and I've been teaching measurement marketing to measurement marketers like you since 2017. That is a mouthful. And I'm also the lead account manager for all of our dedicated measurement management clients, and we run an amazing team of instructors back there in the Measurement Marketing Academy. So if you're already back there in the Academy, reach out to Ask Instructor, say hi to us. We would love to hear from you. And if you're not already part of the Academy, don't worry. I have a surprise for you at the very end for a free course and an opportunity to see what's behind the scenes. So as you go through all of our different types of courses, lessons, workshops, we always remind you of the one thing. Don't try to grab everything we're going to throw at you right now in these what's new workshops. It can be a lot. So don't try to grab everything, just grab one thing, take it, make it your own, and come back and get something else later. So let's go ahead and kick off what's new for June 2023. All right, before we start, we always start with the measurement marketing framework. So, what is the measurement marketing framework, you ask? Well, it is a system that's going to take you from marketing in the blind to reliably growing those revenue and profits. So, that means that you're going to go from not knowing what's working to being able to know what button to push so you can get the results that you're looking for. Wouldn't that be nice? So you're going to start with your plan step where you ask the right questions to get the right information so you can take action. There's so many times where we gather lots of information and ask the same questions everyone else does, but you're not able to take action on the information. And so once you have to know what actions you're going to take, you start your build. You understand your results, the traffic, and you build your story. And then once you have a story, you start to launch by listening, forecasting, and optimizing. And all of that is your measurement marketing framework. So again, this is like a million foot view where it's going to take you from marketing in the blind to reliably growing those revenue profits. If you want to know more about this, we do have an entire course over this topic, and then there is a free course option for you if you want to know about that. So that we address at the very end of this particular workshop. So let's go ahead and talk about what's new for June 2023. For Google Analytics 4, there's been a couple of new releases for you. And one of my favorite ones I'm going to show you with our sister brand, Measure Summit. So one of the things you're able to do, if you have an exploration and you have a funnel exploration, like this guy right here, we're going to click into here. This was released in early May. However, it took a long time for it to roll out. Like we didn't get to see it until like almost 3 weeks afterwards. So if you don't see it just yet, just kind of give it a little bit of time and maybe you'll be able to see that. Same thing with a lot of these other rollouts. You may not see it yet, and that's okay. So this is the new feature. You can save as a report in the library. So once you have your logic figured out, this is a funnel exploration and we're going to do this. And you have all these different steps. Right now I'm logged in as a different user right now, so that's why I don't have the ability to edit, but that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and save as a report in the library, and it kind of tells you once it's in the library, you can add this report to any collection and publish it. So let's go through and see what the heck it's talking about there, because this is insanely valuable. And I want to show you real quick that these dimensions over here are the things you have access to right there. So let's go over to our reports, and I'll show you what I mean by that here in just 1 second. So we have our library. And this is the one that I just created just now. And obviously this is the one we were going through and showing previously when we were going through making another video for this. And so what we can do is if I wanted to edit this and just add this under this collection, the old life cycle collection, I can then go through and look for the particular funnel report. We can just look for the name, or we have this guy right here and just drag and drop it to, let's say it's about behavior and engagement. So we want to put it in here. That's where we want it. So now I would expect to see it under engagement, and then it's this weekly one right there. And we're going to save changes to the current collection. If you wanted to add a new one, you can definitely do that too. So we're going to click back And so now we can see it's here. We can see that this one is published. If it was not published, you just have to click on the dots and publish it, but we're good here. And so now, where would I expect to see it? It would be right in here. And we're going to click in here, and it's going to load up. And because we don't have any data for this time frame, it's going to look like it's not working, but that is not true. We're going to make this go here. I believe that is when we were registering people for Measure Summit. And there we go. And so now we have data coming through with that. The other thing that you can do is you can see right now we only have page location. If we had more options, let me actually come into one of these other ones. Here's our other funnel. And so you can see how we have all of these other items here in our list. That is because in our exploration, which is under a different account, we made sure those dimensions were added here. So going back into create a new one, this is where you would add all those dimensions. If you want to be able to do by device category, make sure it's there. Source, medium, campaign, all of those things, make sure that's there. So when you want to slice and dice it in your report, you'll be able to do that. So this is, again, examine view user behaviors where we put this custom one and we have that there. So that's just a little tidbit of what is new with Google Analytics 4 with the funnel reports. Coming up next with Google Analytics 4, we're going to come back into our teaching account and come into here, and we're going to go into audiences. So we're still going to be over here in our exploration because this is one of the easier way I personally find to find audiences. Is you can come in through here and you can create a segment. And this is what I like to do when I am trying to build out an audience. I get my logic figured out here, and then I use it in the exploration to whatever it is that I'm looking for to make sure that it's working the way I want it to. And then once I know my segment is created the way I want to, I'm going to pop it in here. Then I choose to build an audience because once I know, because the thing with audiences, as soon as you create them, they're done. You cannot edit them. And I'm going to come over here and I'm going to show you an audience here. And so these are some things that we're playing with. And you can even see here, I can edit. But can I test anything? Can I click on anything? Can I do anything? No. The only thing I can edit is this name right there, which is not really useful at this point. So that's why I'm highly encouraging with all of these different audience updates that you're going to be seeing, what you want to do is to make sure that you use your logic, test your logic by building a segment. And then once you're ready, you can build an audience from that however you want. So some of the new audience things that you have is that you can choose something with a date in between. So if you're wanting to know, like it's a great launch thing. Like if you want to see when the date is between at some point or whatever it is, and then you could say, where's that? In between, you have a date range now, which is really cool. Again, for launch models, or maybe there's, something else special going on between a certain date range, or, it's holidays and all these other different things, that is really, really useful. Another new operator that you have, it's not going to be showing with date. We're going to look for, I think revenue might have this one, but it's more, let's try value. That's the word we're looking for. Oh, this account doesn't have any values, but we're just going to go ahead and show you real quick where it can be, you can have greater than, less than these operators. If your account has the value and all that other stuff in there, the event value, you would be able to see that coming through. But this is one of our other teaching accounts, so it's not going to have that in there. All right, the other new options that you have with the audience builder, I'm actually going to show you the list, and you'll have this link with your workshop, and you'll be able to see that you now have access to all of these different item arrays and other different dimension metrics inside of Audience Builder. So this is where you can get really granular for those audiences, whether if you're going to use them in Looker Studio, in Google Ads, or whatnot. You have access to all of these now. All right, and a few more things for Google Analytics. And you may have actually seen it when we were going through and looking at some of our reports. You probably saw, like, what in the world is this? Well, this is something we had introduced in previous workshops where, like, hey, you might see it, you might not. It's one of those things that got launched without it being really announced last month, and now all of a sudden it's finally being announced. We're like, yeah, that's old news. We've already seen that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hop back into our teaching account because it kind of dumped me back into Measure Summit, which is a-okay. So what happens now is when you create your property, this is the new way. Again, you might have seen this in a previous workshop, but just in case you missed it, this is really important. You're going to see this, and I'm going to say test, test, okay to delete. That way, if they see this, the team's not freaking out when something's being deleted. We can choose our industry. We love books. And then we're going to say small. And then here is what it is. And so this is where you can choose all 4 of these. This is our recommendation as of right now because it's kind of a pain in the butt. And again, there's a past workshop that shows you this. And then you can choose all 4 of these or choose one. We recommend, again, from the previous workshop, choose one, and then you can go back and add these, or choose these 4. Because for whatever reason, if you decide to choose one, you cannot, super weird, cannot go back and add these 3. I think that is just a flaw in the system, and hopefully that eventually would be fixed and we can add, but currently that's not a thing. Again, I hope that's a thing they will fix, but just to make it easier on yourself, choose these 4 and you're good to go, or just choose this one and I'll show you real quick how you can then add the other ones. So we're going to go ahead and skip for now, continue to home, and then we're going to go to our reports. And we are going to see, this is the life cycle. That was the bottom one that we added, where we had those 4 options. That is our business objectives, and they're here. They are here. Like, even though we didn't check those 4, they are here. If we had only chosen one, these guys would not be here. Again, I think that's a flaw, and hopefully they will fix it. But now all we have to do is publish. Ta-da! And then it's here. And if we don't want to see life cycle, we can just go unpublish. Ta-da! It's there. So there you go. And then you learned all those different things you could do in the explorations with those funnel reports. You can add those here. You could even create your own section here, your own collection, I should say, and that where you can be funnel reports or user journeys and stuff like that. So that we get all of them could be in one spot. So that is another really cool update. And then just yesterday, we got a couple of more dimensions and metrics for Google Analytics for audiences. I want to show you those as well. So now you have country, the UTM of term, the mobile device info, minute, and new investors returning. So, and then also have session duration are added to the audience. And so you can notice there's been quite a bit of audience focus in the past few months. And so they are leveling that up a lot. So I would encourage you to get familiar with them. So again, come to your admin. You can see audiences here. And remember, you can either archive. Now if I can choose this one here, these are the these are the test account ones. So let's go into this guy right here. Nope. Let's go into Measure Summit. Those are the audiences. So you can either edit, and remember, you can only edit the name, can't do anything else, or you can duplicate, and then you can make changes. Cool, huh? And then you can also archive. You cannot delete or anything like that. And then you can even hover over here if you wanted to learn more. You can have up to 100 audience names. And then if you are going to edit, if you're creating an audience trigger, you can have up to 20 of these. So that will help you with your planning of that. So that was what's new with Google Analytics 4. There isn't much new with Tag Manager. We're going to go hop straight into Looker Studio because there is something super cool that's happening with Looker Studio. And if you know me, you know I am a Looker Studio dashboard fan. So let's go ahead and jump in because there's something exciting. And I really feel like why did this not come out sooner? So the thing that is happening is I want to actually zoom in so you can all see what I'm talking about. There we go. So what is new is this guy right here, it says pause updates. So if you've used Looker Studio and if you are familiar enough with Google Analytics 4, you know there is a quota issue where if you're pulling too much data and building, or your report is too big or something like, or just really large, and you're kind of testing things out, changing dates and all this other stuff, you're going to blow through your limit and it's hard to build out your reports. There's other workshops that talk about all that stuff, but that's kind of sort of a thing of the past because the quotas have been really elevated. But now we have this option to pause updates. And what this is basically doing is it is saying it's not going to go and go grab the data while you're building it, which is fantastic because if you're going to be making like a bunch of different tables, it's going to have a bunch of different information and you're kind of like not sure and you're kind of adding things in and you may be blowing through your quota if your client has a lot of data and you're just really, really testing things, you're copying and pasting and doing all of that, you might blow through your quota and you don't want to do that. And it's really frustrating if you're on a roll and then all of a sudden you have no data to look at while you're building. So you can pause updates and then when you're ready, you can resume. And it even tells us that. So it's kind of, it basically, it's a little bit more a disclaimery. And so it's when the report is paused, changes made to the report's data settings are in place on hold until you resume the updates. Pausing the report updates can potentially, there's that disclaimer word, potentially save on query cost. So it's still kind of like, hey, it may not be perfect, but it's going to help. So again, I think they should have done this a long time ago, but it's really good. The next thing that I want to show you that I also feel like is really cool is we're going to look at this guy, and because I'm going to show you something fun, I want to just make this a different color so you can actually see what the heck it is that we're talking about. And there we go. We're just changing colors on these guys to make it easier for you to read because the next thing that you're going to see is kind of cool. And this is, here we go. Now you can actually read what we're doing. So now what we're going to do is we're going to change this dimension to scroll depth because we have our scroll depth set up as a custom dimension. And we're going to go ahead and get rid of this not set, which is basically all the other events that aren't a scroll depth. So we're going to go ahead and add that in there. And we're going to say, we're going to exclude when scroll depth and contains, and we're going to say not set. And we're going to name it properly. There we go. So now this is what we're seeing here. May or may not be very useful. Yes, you can choose something like this to make it a little bit more easier to see and stuff like that. But we're going to show you something kind of cool, which is a new option that was just released. And we're going to add another metric real quick. And we're also going to call this one sessions. We're like, well, we don't need 2 sessions, but this is the cool part that also is really, really helpful. So if we click on this little pencil and we see this option, running calculation, we're going to click here and you go all the way to the bottom, running percentage delta. So now what does this do? So null is obviously because it's the first one, so it's going to be 100% of the total. But now it's telling us that this number is 8.5% less of the one above it. This one is 9% of the one below, and so on and so forth. So what this is telling us is how much you're losing on each step. So we could do the same thing with video percentage and stuff like that. You could say the same thing if we're doing our ACE results, where complete engaged, what's the percent of we're losing at each step. So again, I'm going to show you, it is the running percentage delta under the running calculation. And so this is where we can call this percent change, or if you want to get fancy and do the delta symbol or with an emoji, I'm going to show you that real quick. This is where you can do that. Emoji. And then we're going to do delta, or we can just do triangle because, that's all we have. There we go. Percent change. And so that is the other Looker Studio update too. There is supposedly a rumor that we're able to get our custom channels in Looker Studio. However, We haven't seen it quite yet, but just keep on a lookout. And the way you would do that is coming into your data source here and then just kind of refresh your fields. If you do have a custom channel, it should pop up and be like, hey, this is available now. And it's always a good idea just to do this every week or so just to see if there is anything new that's now available in Looker Studio directly from Google Analytics 4. If you do see the custom channels, please let us know and ask instructor support. We'd love to hear that it's actually true. We haven't seen it and we can't find the documentation, just kind of a little bit of a rumor. So if you see anything or if you see any Easter eggs in Google Analytics 4 or any of these platforms, please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. So finally, what is new with the Measurement Marketing Academy? So we have all kinds of fun stuff going on. Inside your Measurement Marketing Academy, if you go to your WIN courses in the upcoming weeks, you will see a new one that is going to be updated is our WIN the Measurement Marketing Framework. Currently, it's still sitting over here in WIN the Measurement Marketing Framework here. So that's one that's going to be updated. We did just update WIN Building the Measurement Marketing Agency, which is well received. As you can see, we have been updating all of our Google Analytics 4 courses this year. Everything is new for 2023. So if you are been a procrastinator and have not updated your Google Analytics 4, you have plenty of courses back here, along with the different workshops that kind of help you with the strategy. Because a lot of questions we get is like, how do I do this with the strategy? How do I, what's the best way to do that? And so if you are wanting to learn more about that, then definitely go ahead and check out your workshops. So that is your What's New workshop for 2023, for June 2023. So what was your one thing? Was it the fact that you can now pause in Looker Studio, or was it the fact that you can actually use your funnel report in GA4? I don't know if I can choose which one's my favorite, but it might be the funnel report into a report in GA4. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you like seeing these different types of updates and knowing what's going on with these different platforms so you can stay on top of all of these changes. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And so if you are interested in knowing about this framework you saw, if you're wanting to know how to go from being in the blind and to reliably growing those revenues and profits, then we do have a free course for you available for you for free in our membership, or free part of the membership in the Measurement Marketing Academy. It comes with a toolbox and it comes with all kind of other custom tools for you free. So if you're wanting to do that, all you have to do is join the Measurement Marketing Academy as a toolbox member. That is the free membership. And you can just go into learn more, measure.tips/get academy. If you want the free course and the free tools, go through the toolbox method. And if you're wanting to know those courses or have those courses, if you want Ask Instructor support because you are the procrastinator, maybe you haven't set up GA4, maybe you haven't done it the correct way, or you're not sure, you can always hit us up at Ask Instructor if you are Academy for Marketer member or Academy for Professional. If you're Academy for Professional, that's a mouthful too, we are always on our weekly mastermind calls, and we can definitely walk through and check out your setup as well. And then obviously you have Ask Instructor support for Academy for Marketers, Academy for Professionals. So let us know what you need help with and we'll be happy to help you there. And let us know if you have any questions. But that is what's new for June 2023. We'll see you next time.